Welcome to the Dynamic Women in Leadership Summit, hosted by Diane Rolston, the founder of Dynamic Women. Diane specializes in coaching female business leaders to have more life balance and confidence. And now we welcome Mila Johansen.
Well, hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. And so today you're sharing with us writing and publishing your short book is as easy as 1, 3. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, yes, I grew up in a very poor neighborhood with a single mother, and my imagination was always super big. And I would imagine everything. And the first movie, how I became a writer, was the first movie I saw was Mary Poppins, and I was 8. And it's a funny story. I came home and I did a chalk drawing, just like in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought if I jumped into it, I could be transported to that beautiful land of green meadows and merry-go-rounds and penguins.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I am not very good even now. I can't even draw stick people, so it wasn't a very good drawing. But I believed, and I closed my eyes and I jumped in about 8 times. I still believe, but it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought, well, maybe I could be a writer and I could make the magic happen that way. So I started writing my first novel. And I wrote, because I always read like Nancy Drew and the Bobbsey twins.
Yeah.
And so then I started writing and I wrote a page and a half and I quit because I was 8. But I always wanted to be a writer. So my mother did something that I do to my clients now. She tricked me into becoming a writer. She said, Mila, I know you want to be a writer. I was about 18. She goes, just write one sentence a day for a month.
Mhm.
Well, you know what, Paula, you can't write just one sentence a day. It's like potato chips. So by the end of
Yeah.
by the end of the month, I was a writer, and now I do that with my own students and clients. I say, "Hey, everybody, I just want you to write 20 minutes a day. That's all you have to do. It doesn't have to be this big old thing. Even 5 minutes a day adds up to a book." And the writer Toni Morrison, she wrote her first novel in 15 minutes a day because that's all the time she had between work and raising children.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. That's great. I like how you described it. Your mom tricked you into being what a great mom. What a great mom and setting you on your path. So it does, writing and publishing your own story is easy as short book is as easy as 1, 2, 3. But what do you mean by short book? What do you mean by short book?
Okay, well, here's the measurements from Amazon that I've studied and I put out everywhere. And it's 36 pages. It's the shortest book you can put on Amazon with a spine. You want a little bit of a spine, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then the next size book is I wrote my book, 101 Surprising Tips to Promote Your Book, that everyone here can get a copy of today.
Yeah.
And this one is 75 pages, so you can see the spine.
Okay. Yeah.
5 pages. But the book, if you do 98 pages, you
Mm-hmm.
can have your name on the spine and the title on the spine.
Ah,
Otherwise, you can't. But now my big book, because we're not doing 500-page books anymore, we're not doing Mishner anymore. The attention span
okay.
will not stand for it. So this book is my grandmother's book, From Cowgirl to Congress, and you can see it's a lot thicker. Let me see if I can find it. There it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, 300 pages. And so,
Okay.
so what people are doing is the 36-page book, the in-between book, the 98-page book, but most people are opting to do the 125 to 135 comfortable page book, which
Mm-hmm.
is just a little, I wish I had one, just a little thicker than this one. And so that is, we can all attain that. But what I teach, and I
Yeah.
just um, taught it recently, I teach it 4 times a year, is we all sit together for 5 hours on a certain Saturday,
Yeah.
and I encourage everyone to write their short book in a day. Now, anybody can write a 36-page book in a day or two
Okay.
about something they know,
Yeah.
and get it edited because we don't want more bad books. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so, yeah, and you can get it up on Amazon in 2 weeks. It's so simple to load on Amazon that I know everyone's keeping it big secret, but no, you go on there and they'll take you step by step. Do this, do this, do this. So what I do when I teach my big 6-week program is I actually hold everyone's hand and take them through every step, blow
Okay.
by blow.
Yeah, yeah, that's incredible. So, like, 'cause self-publishing seems really, really scary. And what you're saying now is making it sound easy. So, how easy, like, how easy is it really to
Well,
self-publish right
Amazon has really made it simple. And the greatest thing about Amazon is you can get samples. So let's say your book is halfway done. I'm encouraging people, even when your book is halfway done,
now? Okay.
load it up on KDP. KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing, which is Amazon's Amazon publishing leg.
Okay.
And so you can go on today, even if you're not going to publish for a year, and you can join KDP, and you'll have to give a bank account because when you eventually do books, they're going to want to know where to send the money. But the great thing about that is because a lot of us are in compilation books now. I'm being in as many as I can, and I'm putting one out really soon called the Cinderella Monologues. And I'm really excited. Yeah, so when you're in one of these books, when you go onto KDP, you can sign up for your author page. Like you could do that tomorrow, Paula, and then that way you're all set and ready to go. And let's say I have 6 books that I've published myself. I'm in 3 or 4 compilation. I don't like compilation books. I like to call them collaboration anthologies because I've been putting them out before it was popular. I've been teaching for centuries. Decades. I've been teaching,
Okay.
and I've been putting out with my students many, many times. We would do a coloring book, much like Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, but once you put your little author page and your bio and your
Mhm.
picture on Amazon, then every book you put out will be the same author page. You don't get to change it for every book, but you can change your author page as much as you want. So in all of my compilation books that I'm in now, collaboration books, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
and all of my personal books, my author page is the same. So anybody can go in and do that now, and then you feel like you're on your way. It's kind of a step I have people take right now.
Yeah, that self-belief, right? I'm creating an author's page and I'm writing a book. So that sort of keeps the momentum going. You do have a good imagination because I liked how you said you've been teaching for centuries. That made me really laugh. That really laughed. So, back to the short book, this 36 pages, it's going to have a spine. What can people use that short book for?
That's almost the most exciting thing, especially to this audience, because I know a lot of people here are coaches and
Mhm.
teachers and business people. So
Mhm.
a lot of people are writing their short book to show expertise, to
Mhm.
sell, and to use as a calling card. And what I do is I actually have a PDF of my book, The 101 I just showed you,
Yeah.
and I've probably given away 5,000 when I speak. I speak 2 to 3 times a week at podcasts and summits, and
Okay.
I always want a gift. And so I use my PDF as a gift. And then I actually finally just published the book. But oh, here's my formula.
Okay, yeah, share that, please.
Publish your paperback first.
Okay.
And now Amazon just a year ago allowed us to put hardbacks on, so you could do both. But the reason is you want your family and colleagues to have the physical book on their shelf.
Mhm.
Then wait 3 weeks and then put up the ebook. And the reason is because if you put up the ebook at the same time, which a lot of people do, they'll only
Mhm.
buy the ebook. And a
Mhm.
lot of the money you're going to make back for the editing, because that's one thing you do need to pay for is the editing.
Okay.
A lot of the money you can make back right away is when people buy the physical book. That's when you're going to make your big chunk.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think that's important because you want to pay yourself back. But you know what? Most people in the business world right now, they don't care if they sell any books or they make any money on the book because they're making money on the back end with their coaching programs.
Mm.
Huge amount. I mean, it's sort of a big deal. I'm a ghostwriter for several people, and one of my other colleagues, she's a ghostwriter, and they're paying her this huge amount to write their ghost book, and then they're not even worried if they sell it because they're teaching from it with their program.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing those tidbits there. Now, that book you said your grandmother wrote, is that right?
Yeah, my grandmother I found her memoir. I was the archivist in the family, and they sent it to me from Cowgirl to
Ah,
Congress. We
yeah.
popped into the modern age by giving her the Andy Warhol look. Here's her different
Yeah.
look. And she was why you and I vote. Paula.
Mm.
She came from a terrible childhood in Colorado, but a teacher saw how brilliant she was and got her to Smith College on the East Coast. And guess what her first job was? Her first job was putting together the Pulitzer School of Journalism with one other man, Professor Cunliffe. And then her second job was helping set the first minimum wage for women in America, if you can imagine, from $4 a week to $8 a week.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, then she was the first woman lobbyist at the Capitol. She spoke all over London with George Bernard Shaw, and then she taught Eleanor Roosevelt public speaking. And Eleanor would say, "All right, Jesse, bring all the students over and we'll practice at the White House together." You can imagine.
And can you imagine?
But guess
Wow, that's
what?
incredible.
But guess what? Here's the kicker. She wrote a book, Time to Speak Up, the first speaking book for women, and it became so popular that she had to go around the country and speak with it. So it became her flag, even though it was a little bigger book, and it became her flag. And she went around, and I'm so jealous. She spoke in front of 200 to 2,000 people at every stop,
Wow, that's incredible.
and they all bought the book. She sold thousands of copies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. What a legacy. And you know how you found you've got your own voice and using some of the same pieces around that. Just your calling card. The short book is your calling card, and how important that really is. How important that really is. So we've talked about your book, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier, that's the gift for everyone today. Did you want to just expand a little bit more on your book that you're gifting
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah, this book I wrote, they asked Einstein once, they said, "Einstein, what's the theory of relativity?" And he said, "I don't know. It's in a book. I leave my mind open for new ideas." So I often write my books so that I can refer to them later. Yesterday, forgot something I wrote in here. I had to look it up.
Mhm.
And so I write books for me too that I can have. And then this is a very valuable book. It's, the tree thing, the best time to start your advertising your book was a year ago. The next best time is today, is what I say. And
Mhm.
so, and there's a lot of tricks in here, like, Twitter. And even if you're going to be traditionally published, they expect you to do much of the advertising. And they're going to ask you from now on, "Oh, well, what's your Twitter size? What's your Facebook size? What's your email size?" And so it's important to start building that today. And I found a formula for Twitter
Mhm.
that's in the book. It's an example of what's in it. And I went
Mhm.
from 58 followers for 8 years to 9,000 followers in 8 months. The
Wow.
formula in this book.
Yeah. Wow, that is incredibly generous. And I really liked how you quoted Einstein there. It's in the book, and you leave your mind open for new ideas and for growth and things like that. Yeah. So that's fantastic. What a generous offer you have for us. With the Twitter and all of these other tips, this is just came to my mind, and hopefully I'm not putting you on the spot, but it's almost like being an author and being a writer is its own business. And now even traditional publicists are looking at that. What are your thoughts, or on that?
It's an excellent tool for any business, and sometimes I take whole groups of business people and help them write their books so they can have them as their calling card. And it's exciting because it's a whole new world in publishing. Oh, there goes my phone. Thank you to Amazon. Is making it so easy. They give us so many perks too. They give us everything. Like this book here for a sample, I
Mhm.
paid $2, and that means I can buy hundreds of these to pass out as I go around the country speaking. My
Oh,
grandmother's book, just a little thicker, of course. This
yeah.
was $4.95 a copy. So and
Mhm.
and with Amazon, you're making, like with that book, I make over $6 a book. And if it was traditional, I'd make $1 or $2, but
Mhm.
still I would probably sell more with traditional. So maybe it evens out. I know several traditional publishers who have gone to Amazon and are now self-publishing because they already had a name and they like the money they're making.
Wow, that's great. And when you're working with Kindle and doing this, and you talked a little bit about samples, is it really that easy step by step to get the book out? Because I think that maybe is a pain point or a fear point in a way of speaking for someone who's like put their heart and soul into it, and now I just can't get it on there. So how easy is it?
It's so simple, you can just walk right through it. The most difficult part is the cover. Now, if you go to Fiverr, Fiverr with the two R's,
Yeah.
there are people there who will load it for you. And they're so cheap that if
Oh,
they do it wrong, you can go to the next person. And there are people who make the covers. Now, if you go to Book Cover Zone, this is my little hint.
yeah,
Go to Book Cover Zone online, and you
yeah.
can get the most beautiful covers in the world for 60 to $80, all made and ready for you and all sized. And then you can just load it up yourself. You have to load your book as a PDF.
Okay.
Amazon, and it's pretty easy. There's also what I use as a resource is YouTube. There's YouTubes for every single thing you want to
Yeah.
learn. They're 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, and and there's a lot of people who do it for you for super reasonable.
Okay. Okay. Now, is there a recommended size of a book
Yes.
these days? What is that?
Well, industry standard is
Mhm.
6 by 9.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
and then, what I do to extend a book is, let's say, like this book, I wanted 5 more pages. So
Okay.
I double spaced between all the paragraphs, and between sentences, I did 1.5 instead of 1.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I added value in the end. If you add something in the end, please make sure it's valuable, not just filler. Like I added in writings conferences that you could go to, and I
Oh.
added in writers' terms and abbreviations and valuable things that everyone needs to know. So,
Mm.
that's another way to fill your book up. With my dog book, I wrote this book about dogs. I needed 5 more pages. So I found this beautiful calendar about dog events, National Barf Day, National Leash Day. And,
Oh my
and
goodness.
it was funny, but I put it in the back, very entertaining. And you would never imagine there's like 100 National Dog and Cat Days.
Yeah, that's funny. It seems like there's a national day for anything. So I imagine, yeah, National Leash Day. That's crazy. That's funny. Well, thank you so very much for sharing and about the short book and how writing and publishing is it really is. It's just as easy as one, two, three, the way you describe it. And you shared about your gift. Um,
And we have a question over here that
Question.
I think
Yeah,
our
I just noticed that. A question in the chat. Should everyone write their own book?
it's true, they should. And everyone keeps telling me at all the workshops I take when I started pivoting with
Mhm.
COVID to get online, and they all said you have to find your target audience. Well, it's different with a book because every single person wants to write a book. I'm telling everyone I meet, let's write our memoirs so our children will know we were young ones.
That's fantastic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think sometimes they think we were born old.
That's so funny. And what's funny is like yesterday I started my class. Warning, warning. By the end of this class, you may have many more ideas for books than you walked in with. And so I
Mm.
think everyone doesn't just have one book. I think everyone has many books. Oh, and here's one more thing. So you write the 36-page book. You
Yeah,
use it for your outline for your longer book. So I would take this book and I'll make it into the 98-page book. I'll make it
yeah,
into the 125-page book,
yeah,
maybe longer. And then here's my real trick, and I've done it with
yeah,
many books. Take this long book,
yeah.
pages. I'm going to put it into 5 shorter books with each segment of her life.
Ah, yeah.
The more books you put on Amazon, it's not that you're going to sell more books particularly, except for through algorithms. The more books you put on Amazon, the more you build your algorithms.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that on Amazon. That's where if you choose this one, here's other books from the same author, or you'll like these, and then yeah, you're starting to germinate your audience, germinate your audience. So those are some amazing tips. Thank you for that. I really like the idea of using your short book as the outline for your longer book, because then you can explore different ideas and then expand on it and you're in a really continuous way. So just as we're going to be wrapping up, what are your final thoughts? I've so enjoyed hearing from you today, and but what's your final message, final thoughts?
Well, I think everyone can write a book. Just get an editor, and when you start writing, you'll find out it's better than you thought. And but what I always like to end my talks with is no matter where you came from or what has happened to you, you can be anything. And Oprah says we have to reinvent ourselves until the end.
Yeah, nice. And Oprah, yeah, that's wisdom right there. We cannot stagnate. We cannot stagnate. And with a book, as we explore more of ourselves, I imagine we find and transform ourselves, as Oprah says, right? We're continuing to
Well,
grow.
exactly. My grandmother did that. She had a career till she was 94 to inspire us all. She took me along when she spoke with Gloria Steinem, Marlo Thomas, and Jane Fonda in Hollywood all the time with in the
Wow.
90s.
Wow. That's what an amazing legacy. And that alone, those experiences alone with those women, that's a whole book on its own, I imagine.
Maybe I should, because it was so. And then I later worked for Jane Fonda at her summer camp, and she even brought the horses in from Hollywood sets. And half the kids were
Oh,
from Cesar Chavez camp, and half were from the Hollywood mansions. It was quite, and she's amazing. She was
oh.
wonderful to work for. She was gracious, lovely. It was a great summer when I was just out of college.
Wow. Well, I wish we've got so many more things going on today. I wish we could continue this conversation. Thank you so much, Mila. I really appreciated your sharing and your tips, and you kind of jazzed me up a little bit here. So I really, really appreciate that. Nice talking to you. Take care.
Thank you.